Se ora di avviare.
Even though you told me to get back your heart, still spinning inside your orbit. I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you still make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Pull me back, take my hand, call my name. You understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. That's my luck. Give me all day, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, call my name. You understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna walk away. Pull me back, take my hand, call my name. You understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away.
Good evening everyone, welcome to the Masters of ACC, and we are here in Zolder, in a cloudy Zolder, in the middle of Belgium. And as always, it's going to be the silver class first and then the pro class afterwards. As Miatini now sets at 28.6. Apologies for being slightly late, but unfortunately there were some technical issues with ACC not opening. For some odd reasons my Steam client was simply not working. Maybe it needed an update or something else, but now we are here. As around we set up 27.870. As currently quickest lap time as Limberg's, and the Lamborghini goes quicker. Enough to put himself in pole position as the Latvian driver, as a new entry in the series, already sets a very important lap, and still some drivers are missing from their lap time. But looking at these, Danovic still has a good shot at making it into P1 with car number 1, Huracan GT3 Evo. Matter of fact, it does so, and it puts the Huracan in 27.4 as Gibbons sets a second quickest lap, just barely ahead of Limbers, who is also barely improving, although with some lag spikes. Looking at his car, I think he may just miss it. In fact, he set the quickest second sector time, but he lost some time in the first sector especially, so he still remains in third. Tirena here for Phoenix Racing. The car number 829 is currently lapping quite quickly in 5th place, just 1 second below the 1 second gap from P1. Now he's in 5th place. Zolder still improves. He now had a 27.4, now it is a 27.3, and he now has a 3 times margin on the cars following in the standings, although Limbers was improving a lot. But said improvement will not be put in the leaderboard since he went off track, and it's quite tremendous news since he made a 27.2, which would have been enough for pole, and again he goes out of bounds in turn 1. He goes too wide on exit, and his lap time will not be a valid one for the second time in a row. As Villanova is also improving. for Villanova, this will not be an improvement. The current lap, after just losing some time in the last chicane, the Italian will remain in 12th place. And Longden is just barely improving his own lap time. Vianello is also doing the same. About 90 milliseconds only for the Italian, the Ferrari 969, which now sets at 27.7. Just 5 tenths behind Zoranovic. And in a sandwich between the Lamborghini 205 in 3rd and Mayattini in 5th place. The distance, Limburgs is currently the car that interests me the most. They just have 3 minutes to complete the qualifying session, and maybe this is a very nice lap for Limburgs, although he has some McLarens ahead. Hoping only Gemello is currently on a valid lap, and Limburgs has to believe in it, that this will not be impeding, because he is currently about to crash the pole lap as Zoranovic goes into the pits, so he will never improve his lap. And I think there could be a chance for Limburgs to put it in pole position. It is indeed an improvement, 27.2, and Zoranovic is practically obliged to at least start or depart from 2nd place in class. Unfortunately for Limburgs, this could very well be an aborted lap, after the McLaren ahead still sits in 16th place. Unless the McLaren let him pass, which is what is happening. So Limburgs just has, I think, another 2 shots this to improve even further. Currently has a 35 milliseconds gap on Zoranovic, which will not improve his lap time. And Vianello is also improving, not by much, but he just needs a tiny bit more than a tenth to gain a place in silver class. And I think Limburgs is also done for the day. It is indeed the end of top 3 in qualifying. Although Vianello could become one of the top 3, but he stays in 4th. He does set the exact lap time he already set at 27.767, but unfortunately he goes wide in turn 1, so this will also be the end for Vianello. So top 4, top 5 maybe? Yeah, because Mayattini is... no, actually I don't know, because Mayattini is still showing himself without a valid lap, so I will not know until he crosses the line. And Beslink is currently improving by an entire half second. He is currently sitting in 13th place. Oh, that was a slight mistake. A costly mistake, I would say, since he was half a second faster than himself. Now he's barely 2 tenths. Under his lap time, and with these 2 tenths he will jump from 14th in the grid to at 13th with the same exact lap time as Tirrena in 12th place, 1 second point 110 away from Limburgs. and no one in silver class will improve. So we are with the pro class. Chasing De Jong in the Ferrari 55. Sits in the middle of the pack. And will possibly start the lap shortly, so we'll go for some in camera to have a lap of Zolder. So this was a lap with our Dutch driver, who unfortunately didn't set a valid lap time, but Stemma did. Just 88 milliseconds off the pace from Limberts in the Lamborghini, and a few other times are popping up, but oh, that was a huge jump for Stemma, trying to cut as much time as possible. Look at this. Have a look at the jump he made, the curves. First one, the second one, we are a bit too much. As a car number 22, matter of fact, is into the wall for, I suppose, the very same reason. Trying to cut as much time as possible into the chicane, which put the car in the wall. And this will also be a quite important thing during the race. Many drivers will try to cut as much time as possible. Meanwhile, De Jong goes in pole for roughly 5 seconds, with Stemma then jumping in P1 in the Ferrari 296. As I was saying, the chicane in the middle of the circuit is pretty much a boost in your time of up to 0.3 of a second. So obviously many drivers will try to cut as much time as possible from it. because De Jong is pretty much in a good route to put it in first place. Just barely, he does so by 15 milliseconds. He puts the Ferrari 296 in first place overall with a 27.1, and Hill follows in third place. So extremely packed qualifying, although De Jong now goes into the pits, so this leaves Stemma with a chance to improve his own time, with Eck, who is also improving quite a lot, so we'll go first with Eck in 6th place. And Eck just goes in 2nd place, 7 milliseconds only away from P1. As he goes into the pits with just 5 minutes to go. As I was saying, Stemma is also in a peculiar situation where he can improve by up to a 10th. He does so by a 10th and a half, so Stemma is now clear of De Jong by more than a single 10th. Ultimately setting a new fastest lap of the session. So he now has a good chance of making a good improvement, but there's also Garby here, who is only in 11th place and currently improves by 6 times, putting the car in 7th place, although he still remains behind some of the silver class drivers. To be exact, Garby is now in 7th behind Zoranovic and Limbergs, with David Hill as the British driver is currently only shy of 2 tenths of a second, but could rapidly become way less than that. As a matter of fact, it does improve by a lot, putting his car only 5 milliseconds away from P1, and this just sets the entire first 2 rows of the qualifying session, gapped just 145 milliseconds, less than a 10th and a half between Stemma and Eck, 1st and 4th, as now is back rolling as the Audi of Velman number 29. He goes for an improvement. The improvement will not be enough. He will remain in 12th place, and he just has time for a single lap. Many pro drivers are still in many difficulties. Rubini in 30th, Curti in 27th, Vita only 23rd, and he was one of the battling cars for the lead a few rounds ago. Gallo in 22nd, Sanchez in 19th, Castrach in 18th, Rice in 17th place only. Jongen in 10th, Velman in 12th, who actually went back into the pits. So this is qualifying over for Velman. Garby in 7th. Then we've got the top 4 with Eck, De Jong, who is on a valid lap time at the moment, Hill and Stemma. De Jong requires... oh, that's not what he required, but that's certainly the lap done. I think he has just enough to put another valid lap time. Look at this, trying to cut as much as possible. Went a bit too much on the outside of the curve on the second chicane. which threw the car for a half spin, and the Dutch driver luckily gained control of his car in time. Jongen, the BMW M4 for QRT Sports. The other Dutch driver is currently improving. He's in 10th place, but I think he can get at least to 7th, maybe 8th place for Jongen. Just below the 7 tenths gap, and just behind Garbi. Sema still trying to improve for the current lap time, as Hill will not. No, wait, maybe we can just barely. Okay, it's a glitched lap, unfortunately. So as I was saying, Stema is trying to improve even more, just to be safe from any incursion. And the Ferrari driver does improve, barely, but he does improve and sets at 26.850, creating a 1/10 gap to Hill, who goes into the pits, De Jong, who is in the pits, and Eck, who is trying to at least improve by 7 milliseconds. Oh, that's not happening. That's certainly not happening. He tried to push as much as possible, but he put the car into the wall. We can have a better look at it from the interior camera. Look at this. She can get him cut. He cut too much on the right-hander, which put the car over the curbs, which then set the car to lose on exit, putting the left side of the Honda on the grass and then into the wall. So only Cassitrash remains as the only car still running, but also still improving. The Ferrari driver is currently 16th place. And now jumps into 12th place overall, and 7th in Pro Class. This is a championship for the length of 8 different rounds, and I think it's nice to see who is where. As you can see here, maybe just okay, this is a bit better. So as you can see, Timon Stema is ahead of everyone after winning the first round and having the second round not counted, mainly because there is a drop round, so the lowest achievement gets erased. Nopek follows with Eck in third, Davy Hill, then Jongen in fifth, with De Jong, Velman, Vita, Cassitrash and Garbi completing the top 10. Obviously still pretty packed, this title decider, but it's only the third round, this one here. And then in silver class we've got Zoranovic and Vianello, just 1 point apart, with Megliatini following in third place and Istomin in fourth. That leaves Robinson in fifth place, with Timar, Galamini, Gibbons, Vavasori and Sodre completing the top 10 in silver class. But in any case, the Zolder racetrack, which is a very nice track. It held DTM, it held the GT World Challenge for a brief moment, and several motorsport series, but not major ones. And it makes sense since the track is so small. It was also used in British GT, if I remember correctly, and obviously in motorbike championships, as you can see from the markers on the starting grid. There are starting places for motorbikes too, and in 60 minutes we will see who wins in the magical Zolder racetrack. Quite difficult one, because you have to be quick in every single point of it. You have elevations, you have fast turns, you have slow turns, you have chicanes, so you have everything you need except a straight line. And a very important place will be the first chicane, where you have to cut as much as possible, but not too much, otherwise you get either a track limit violation at best case scenario, or at worst you get your car thrown into the wall with as much violence as physically possible. That obviously applies even in the second chicane, but the second chicane is a bit tamer. You can cut it. If you do it too much, you get a track limit violation almost certainly, but you don't get your car thrown into the abyss at the very least. So it's actually interesting to see if and how drivers will try to cut the chicane to gain some temps. Remember, up to 3 temps up for grabs in your lap time in a racetrack which is only, or rather it's less than 90 seconds in duration. As you can see here, first cut, then the second one is there on the right. You can't go for a compromise, you either commit or you don't, because if you change idea mid-corner, or if you just misjudge the trajectory, you get half the car on the curb and half the car off the curb, and then you get thrown away. The second chicane is practically the same. You have to have a very wide entry, so your car is practically straight into the turns, and so you can also get a very nice entry point into the right-hander, which consequently follows that chicane. What's happening here is tremendous, because it's very easy to make a mistake there. The short timer will start 90 minutes race. As always, into the helicam. So green light, and away we go with a very nice start by the BMW of Young in the middle of the pack. Also Zoranovic trying to put the car in the middle of a free wide situation, but the Young goes a bit deep, tries to make an overtake on the outside, whilst also Eck loses the position on silver pole sitter and then gains it back. So Eck is back in 4th place as Jongen just jumped his opponent, with Garvey now in 8th place, and Hill is now is still in 2nd place. Rather follows Stema extremely closely. Meanwhile, Zoranovic just defends against the BMW in 7th place, as Garvey tries to go for a move on the outside. That's for 7th place, as I can see some yellow flags showing. I think that's Villanova and several other cars who had an incident. I think, oh, that's a loss of rear traction for Garvey. Side by side into the right-hander, but as it stands, the 2-1 remains in 7th place, as Sanchez is now back into the pits, so possibly a DNF for the 73. Meanwhile, the Johan Hill trying to go side by side into the final chicane, very likely. No, actually, the McLaren backs off So that's De Jong in the car number 55 who takes second place. And behind, the Honda thinks about something, but nothing happens. As I think, oh, he goes straight into the gravel, trying to follow. Oh, that's Eck maybe losing the position on Limber, as Limber is trying to overtake Eck for 4th place, but by doing so he shows an opening for Zoranovic following. Oh, that's possibly a contact between the two. No, no contacts. They're actually just challenging each other quite fairly meanwhile. Oh, there is a contact there! And that's Limberg. He was the leader in silver class. Was it a mistake? Oh, it was unfortunately a mistake. Zoranovic also tried to avoid the contact, but by doing so he actually lost 2 positions and left the Latvian driver in 22nd place. So quite unfortunate there. You know, like thinks about a move on the inside, but he remains behind the hill and cleverly thinks about a second attempt in another place. Again, very unfortunate for the Latvian driver. He tried to cut a bit too much, and that led the leader speeding, and unfortunately Zoranovic just couldn't avoid it. Tried to go to the right, and unfortunately the car just spun on that very direction. As there is currently a side by side here between Robinson and Bellman for 12th place, without trying to make the overtake from the outside. And they are still side by side after several corners, which is quite impressive. Now into the chicane. Can they stay side by side? No, they can't. But it is actually a positive. No, they actually do stay side by side. There is actually a second overtake happening behind. That's Rice going for a bit of a move. Oh, that's Gallo. Oh, there are multiple cars actually getting involved in an incident with Gallo simply cutting completely everything. And I think that was Vianello. Yeah, it was Vianello getting stuck there. He is now in 31st place, but I think it was a contact with rFactor. Oh yes, it was a very little contact, but that was some contact. So unfortunately the Italian got sent into the wall while being ahead of the rFactor Esports driver. Meanwhile, Tima in the 46 is trying to get the overtake on Robinson. That will be for 4th in silver class. As Gibbons loses the place on Cassitrash, that's for 9th place overall. As he stays there in 10th, not making any move. But I'd like to see what happened to 749. So, as you can see here, was it a contact by Rice? Actually, it was a contact. Oh yeah, it was definitely a contact. Whether it was on purpose or not, it could be seen from stewards. Now Robinson goes for an inside move on the hairpin, a very nice one too, and the Aston overtakes the other Aston. It's now a three-way Aston fight for 12th place among Robinson, Rice and team. Oh, there is more contact there between Rice and Robinson. As you can see there, Rice defends harshly against Tima. As De Jong, ooh, De Jong made a mistake. And Garbi, I think, will also overtake the Ferrari driver. The same price to Young, but I think that was a mistake made on the curve. Yeah, he completely lost the car. Luckily, he didn't put the Ferrari in the wall, but he just lost the place on Garbi. As he defends against Jongen, side by side into the hairpin. The QRT sports driver tried to go for a move for 5th place, but that will not happen. Meanwhile, Magnatini made the overtake on Zoranovic just after the hairpin. Let's replay here. I think it was just a little mistake there between. Wait, it was a mistake with Zoranovic, a very odd one, and Zoranovic is now stopped in the track. So, oh, he's stuck in 4th gear, that's why. He's stuck in 4th gear, so gearbox issue. For Zoranovic. He can't get away from 4th, as you can see. He's removing the wheel. He's trying everything to put back the car at least in 1st gear. And I think that's a DNF. So Zoranovic with gearbox issues. It was very odd the way he exited the hairpin as Bellman overtakes Gibbons for 9th place. The Audi R8. It was like the gear wasn't put in. And matter of fact, car was stuck in 4th on exit of this very airplane. So now that's it's another car off. I won't say one of the protagonists, but certainly one of the main protagonists for the battle for the lead in the championship. Meanwhile, Salazar and Deschamps trying to switch positions. As an incident, I think, happened between Barf and Gemello. Yeah, Barf is into the pits. So something clearly happened here. Oh no, wait. It's actually Barf and Galami. Yeah, there is contact. There's clear contact that happened somewhere. Then there has been this incident. So you can see the Porsche of Belli. Oh, that was... yeah, that's the reason for the pit lane journey. As Charla also made a mistake somewhere. Every time I go into replay, oh, I think I know which one it is. It is indeed the chicane of death. As Charla lost 3 positions from Longden, Gallo and Curtin. Oh, and that's Garbi off! Oh, into the wall! Garbi was in 4th place, and I think after this he will not be in 4th place anymore. He now sits in 8th. Oh, he just jumped and floored it after the first chicane, and then pulled the car into the wall. So he's now in the pit. So race over for Garbi, another of the protagonists of this race. Meanwhile, Salazar makes the overtake on Rubini. Rubini also loses the position on Deschamps, car number 2. That's now the 248 in 20th place. So another protagonist is off the race. We've lost Garbi, we've lost Zoranovic. We nearly lost De Jong. And unfortunately, Limberg was starting in polling class. Got spun, or rather, spun on himself, and then for another contact with Zoranovic, put the car practically at the tail end of the pack. Now is in 17th place, several positions down on Meyatin in 6th place, so he either requires a different strategy or speed delta which transcends reality at this very moment. As all the cars in 11th place downward up until 17th are all in the same train. As you can see from here, everyone is following each other. As he sends Stemma still leads the pack, 4 seconds and a half ahead of Hill. The last lap it was 27.5, but best was at 27.2, and no one could get close to that. The closest we've got is Egg with a 27.3 and a very high 27.3. Low 27 for top 4, low 28 for 5th downward, and low 29 for 11th downward. So clearly 3 different groups of people. This cousin is now very close to got ahead. This train here is slowly getting deconstructed. Slimmers oddly took a very slow lap, 29.6. Considering his pace was practically the same as Jongen, at least. As behind, as you can see, Limex gets an overtake done on Charla. Side by side into the second chicane. Lamborghini takes position, although Charla tried to cut the chicane entirely to gain an advantage, which didn't last. So the next objective is now Curtin in 15th place. Meanwhile, Velman is extremely close to Cassitrashi in 7th. The rate could become seventh in minutes. As it stands, the FRL car remains in 8th place. Meanwhile, Tima, car number 46, is extremely close to the 75, just ahead. He now tries to go for a comeback move, flashing the lights. Zira is defending as much as possible. Now the 46 goes to the right of race. Side by side into the first chicane. Two people can't pass there. Matter of fact, I think London will also have a chance at it. After Tima tried the overtake, which didn't work. And in the end, nothing changes this train. If anything, there are just more Curtin trying to go for a move on the outside on hairpin, but by doing so he leaves a window open to Limbers. He's trying to come back as much as possible. Oh, that's a possible move there for Tima. It was an idea, but certainly having London just behind helps. avoiding such situation. Meanwhile, Longden tries to go for the inside, but there is some lag because my entire race control went into flames for a brief moment. I wonder if it was me or if it was the server. In any case, Curtin is now into the gravel, so Limbers can try to go and make a move. The Latvian driver, unfortunately, he is lapping a second slower than what he can achieve in his own. He is just in the middle of the pack and can't really do much apart from following. Is still glued to his rival and teammate in 7th place. Azraes is waiting. It's actually Timar, apologies. Timar is into the pits for an extreme undercut way too early. He goes for a very important undercut, leaving the door open for at least Lindberghs to try to take some advantage from it. If you can make the move on Curtin and Gallo, that will leave just Longden and rest, so at least there is a car less to overtake for this driver. As Jongen is not in the lobby anymore. For some reasons, I feel. Wait. So Jongen is not. Okay, no. Only Jongen is missing. Yeah, I think someone else is missing now. Because someone else is disconnected. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we also lost Tom Curtin, as he was just ahead of the Lamborghini driver. And now I think he's in 4th, so actually somehow hit De Jong. I think we lost way too many drivers at one shot. 3 drivers are now missing. So Eck also disconnected from the race as the Audi goes into the gravel. So Eck, Jongen and Curtin all disconnected, so clearly the server is not having a good time. That's why 3 drivers are missing. And they were in 3rd place, 5th place, and 12th place respectively. And they are now out of the race, so that's the reason for the lag spikes. That clearly was Savage, I think, but unfortunately 3 drivers got involved in it. Or maybe it is a network issues from their ISP, because it's way too odd that 3 people disconnect at the same time from different parts of the world. As Curtin is, I think, Irish, if I remember correctly. Jongen was, well, it is Dutch and Eck is Swedish. So I think maybe it's an ISP error of some sort. But now Mayatini finds himself in 4th place because of this slight issue. And Venman finds himself in 6th and very close to 5th, and Lindberghs now is only 12th after effectively overtaking Curtin. Oh no, okay, yeah. That's unfortunate. So, wheel disconnection wasn't a gearbox issue. It's a wheel disconnection for the Lamborghini number 1 of Zoranovic. So effectively an USB cable being faulty is the cause for a complete DNF for a driver which was bound to win in his class if anything went smoothly, because he was in the very lead of silver class. Now Gibbons is also in second place in class, and Robinson currently completes the podium in silver. And for the championship this helps a lot this area, since we just exited the drop around phase. The first two rounds effectively aren't that important in some sense, because there is a drop round, so you can miss completely your first round as long as you make a competent second round, and vice versa. But from now on, if you made a mistake in these two rounds, well, that's your joker, and now you have to deliver. Oh, there is a car into the gravel. I clearly held a car into the gravel, but I think it was maybe Charla who lost some time. As I was saying, London is now just following Rice in 9th place. After Thima went in the pit in a very important undercut situation. Has just set his personal best lap. There was a bit of a curb jump for Longden with a 28.100. Because in 5th place he just set his PB, and Limbert still struggles to find a way to pass through Gallo in 11th place. As Limber's cut in a very extensive way the chicane. But remains in 12th place nevertheless. Bellman is now into the pits, trying to do an undercut on his teammate. I think Gallo, actually apologies, Limbergs did the same. Well, Limbergs actually passed the Gallo. So yeah, it was an overtake in the last chicane, which put the car number 205 in 9th place now, after Longden. He is struggling for some issues. Oh, that's the issue. He lost the rear in turn 1 and put the car into the wall. So that's Longden. He was in 4th place in class, and he unfortunately put the car into the wall. So that's now the fifth way to be improved. In 15th place physically, but I really think that after the damage getting repaired, this will be a difficult race for the British driver. Meanwhile, Rest just sits ahead of Limbergs now, although many drivers also went into the pits, so now it's a phase where you can't really say anything. It's going to be important the strategy here, whether you want to change your tires or not. For example, Vita didn't. He remained on the same tires. I don't think Charlotte did. 51 seconds. And Stewart, oh, that's a lot of damage for the Inception Racing McLaren, number 96. As I was saying, since the field is scattered, after the pits of phase started as Longden and Bailey now into the pits to change tires and possibly repair the car for both of them. As you can see, the Lamborghini already close to the line in black Aston Martin. So there is one of the worst tracks. Where to create opportunities. As you can see, Lamborghini tried to go into the inside. I think he could have gone for a move, but he didn't feel safe to do so, and he remains behind Horizon as the 205 is effectively giving us a show for the comeback run, as you can see Magliatini into the pits from the lead in silver class, as Gibbons now becomes your silver class leader. At this point I don't know why the Lamborghini driver is not going for a move into the pits, just to get rid of Fries to at least gain some more position as he goes into the left side of your screen, which is now the right, which is the left part of the 75, which now sits on the inner part of turn 2. Trying to go for a cutback move. I think there is a possible chance there. Oh, he just loses the rear briefly. Tries to go for an impossible move there in turn 3. And by doing so, he's just giving Gallo some more time to play with him. And again, he tries to go for a chicane move, but he just jumped completely the chicane. That's certainly some tire saving strategy, but that's not going to help Lamborghini driver in terms of lap time, as Limburg is still glued to the Aston Martin ahead. Now Magliatini is the leader of the pitted cars. 25 seconds ahead of Deschamps, but I think Stan will easily become the leader now that the drivers... Oh, that's Gallo launching himself in the pit lane to change tires. At this point, I think Limburgs could be thinking about not changing tires, as he still can't really make a move there on the 75. Side by side, and maybe another cutback maneuver. Will do so. Then he tries to push the Aston, which defends the inside as much as possible. By doing so, I think it was a fake maneuver by Limburgs. Seba is now in 11th place. Oh, that's a bit of a jump for the Aston Martin driver, leaving the side open to Limburgs to make a move on the inside of the chicane, and this time it's game over for the Aston driver. Tried to gain some more time on the chicane, and he actually lost the bet, and now sits in 7th place, just behind Limburgs in 6th, who now has clean air for the next 11, maybe 12 seconds. Meanwhile, De Jong and Cassetta rush both into the pits, and also does the same as Besselink is also into the pits. So now as follows Limers. The two are now gapping each other. So Hill is now your current leader of the race. I really think this will be just a brief situation. Matter of fact, Hill sends himself into the pits and breaks as late as possible, maybe a bit too late. Was he at 15 kph? I want to see it again because he was way too close. Let me have a better look. So he cuts off his the first corner, the second corner too. It was very, very close. I'll be honest, I'm not sure whether he did it or not. Meanwhile, Senna is now having some beef with Rubini in 7th because he's still in pit. And he is currently, I won't say defending, but at least existing ahead of Stemma, fastest lap holder and leader of the race as it stands. And something changed drastically. Smeatini is now in 11th after making a move on Casita Rush. Oh, he had some trouble in the chicane, which put Smeatini back in 11th. Now Hill is back in the pits. Oh no, he's exiting. Apologies, he's exiting the pits. I fumbled the car there. I thought he was already back in the pits for some reasons. Speaking of which, he didn't receive any drive-through, so he just barely made it in time. I thought he was. I won't say I thought he was, but I had an assumption he could have risked it. He kept the car below the 50 kph, so he's now free to go and 4 seconds behind Stemma. So he actually gained some time. 3 seconds. He gained the 3 seconds after Stemma didn't put the car in the correct pit box. So he had to be put in the correct position. So when he saw, he lost 3 seconds. Another car who lost 3 seconds is Velman, currently sitting in 9th place. But very few people didn't change tires. To be honest, I can literally count them. The list is not very long. It's composed by a single person who sits in 12th place at the moment. And Vita is the only person that didn't change tires. Going for a bit of a gamble there. Smeatini is still sitting behind Brown, who still has to make his pit lane. Oh, that's happening now. Brown is now into the pits and nearly into the wall. Shongo is very close to Galahad in 14th place. BMW driver in 15th, and number 2 BMW. As right now is effectively the last car to go into the pits. The Aston Martin. So will he change the tires or not? I can tell you. Brown certainly did. As Limburg is now side by side with Vita, who actually let him pass. I think he let him pass. That was a bit risky, but yes, he did. So now Tima is the car ahead, and it's just a 2 seconds gap that has to be filled for Limbergs in 11th. He's trying to gain as much time as possible. I don't think he will be able to win this race, unfortunately. As the race now goes back the racing line, I think he effectively changed tires, so I don't understand why he waited so much for it. He is now back in 12th, 2.5 seconds behind Vita in 11th place. Is now kind of 10th place. I'm looking a lot at the Lamborghini Mini because it's quite frankly the only car that is out of place. It's going to set at 28.315, which is a second quicker in the car ahead. And on the last reading it was nearly 2 seconds quicker than Robinson. So I suspect another overtake will happen in the upcoming seconds. Yes, I said seconds, not minutes, I'll be honest. As I was saying earlier, the gap to Mayattini is 23 seconds, so that's a bit much to be gained back. I think a second place could very well be achievable. It's just quote-unquote just 10 seconds ahead, and Gibbons in 137 is your second place holder in silver class. And if you can make these overtakes quicker, just at 27.6, he currently is the 4th fastest car in the circuit. So he actually had that's a big one. Drive-through for exceeding track limits for Justin De Jong, the car number 55. He has to go through the pits, so we also lost our 3rd place holder, promoting Mayattini, silver class, to 3rd. All of a sudden, Mayattini is now 3rd place overall. And he just needs the 2 cars ahead to have an issue of any kind, and he could actually win this race, defying all odds. SimGrid is now flashing the lights on the Aston Martin driver, just to let him understand that this is a thing that can just be postponed. So make it quick, as the Lamborghini goes into the inside and makes the overtake quite quickly and easily. So now the 205 is in 9th place, and De Jong exits the pits just behind Robinson, effectively putting good help on Limbergs, because now he will have the gap to Robinson possibly cut, since these two will certainly go on to have a little fight for position. Oh, slight mistake there by Limbergs, trying to cut. Who tried to cut the chicane as much as physically possible. So the car in 4th place is rapidly approaching the one in 3rd. He's getting a second per lap, at least. And De Jong there, as you can see, nearly pushing the Aston Martin driver altogether. Oh, put nearly the car, actually did put the car in the grass, and nearly putting it into the gravel. He's obviously aggressive because he needs to gain back time. And now there is a little train forming here between Robinson, De Jong and Limbergs, as Tima already lost a second on the Latvian driver, who lapped, although the overtake happened, and the little mistake on the chicane, he still did a 28.6. So very important lap. Oh, that's a mistake by Robinson, who lost a tremendous amount of time on De Jong, and I think this is also a possible overtake. Yes, it is. So De Jong completes the overtake quite easily, but I think also Robinson helped a tiny bit there, the Dutch driver. But by doing so, Limbergs is as close as possible to the British driver. Lost a good chunk of temps in the last lap alone. In perspective, Mejatin, Kasitesh and Velman were starting 11th, 12th and 13th, and now they are all three up 8 positions in 3rd, 4th and 5th place. Meanwhile, on the other hand, De Jong and Limbergs have lost 4 positions since the start of the race, although many have DNF'd or disconnected one way or another. Since Limbergs remains the 4th fastest car on the circuit. The only ones able to beat the Lamborghini driver were De Jong, Velman, Stema and Meyati. It's actually the 5th, I can't count. I didn't consider Stema, don't really know why. So Velman still follows closely, because it rushed for 4th place overall. Ooh, that's a mistake by Robinson, putting the car way too much on the outside, possibly leaving a window open, and in fact I think Limbergs easily passed Robinson, but also because I think Robinson braked a little bit. I saw the braking lights go on in the middle of the main straight, so I really think this was a bit of a facilitated pass. So now 10 seconds remain to get P2 in silver class. Velman and Cassetta are still battling for 4th overall, and the 3rd, so this is actually for the podium overall class all of a sudden, unless the Yogi can somehow gain back 16 seconds after getting the drive-through for its intact limits. battle is getting sparkled. It's among between Rice and Vita for the 11th place. Rice has way better tires than the Italian driver. And I think the last reading will also state the sentence. 28.9 for Vita and the fastest personal best lap for Rice with a 28.4. Speaking of PB, Robinson, Lindbergh and Gibbons all did their quickest lap time. 27.495 for De Jong. Very nice. It was actually his best lap so far, but unfortunately that was not a valid one. And oh, Lindbergh is off. He's into the wall. So he lost completely also the position on Tima. Yeah, he cut way too much and put the car into the barriers. So that's a comeback run over for the one to watch for tonight. He challenged the fire, but he got burnt with it. Tried to cut as much time as possible. That now puts the Lamborghini driver back in the fight for lower positions. Unfortunately, because he just set at 27.5, which is one of the quickest lap time of the entire session. He now lost 10 seconds because of that mistake. As you go back here. Flat out. Driver in 11th. He's trying to defend at best of his capacities against Rice. Lost the car a tiny bit on exit there, and actually he's letting Rice pass. Okay, that's something. That's not very common to happen, and when it happens I'm always perplexed. I don't really know why you want to give a position away to else. Like as a racing driver, even if you are on three wheels and without a wing, you still try to defend. Okay, maybe not that much, but take my point. So I don't really understand why Vita just let Rice pass by. Because it's important to state that there is a prize pool for the class winners, 25 euros and 15 euros Steam gift card for the pro winner, for especially the pro winner and the silver winner in class. And I think we also have a brief moment to see again the standings, the pro standing. Just see the tower. So you can see Stemma is at the very top of the field, but Novak didn't participate in this race. And Ek got disconnected, so his championship run will be hit hard. Hill, on the other end, is now... Oh wait, something happened. Stimmer is not behind the race. Was it a mistake on his own? Oh yes, it was a mistake on his own. I think he actually made 2 mistakes. Oh, he also lost completely the control of the car into the chicane, so he also lost the position on both Vita and Gallo. So now Tima sits in 13th place. So as I was saying, Hill will possibly jump from 4th in the championship to 2nd. If he can remain in 2nd place at the moment. Only Jongen also has been hit, and the Young who follows the drive-through. Slightly different in silver class, with Zoranovic who unfortunately will have another DNF. And Vianello, who also DNF'd, and Megatini, who is currently winning in his class, with Istomin, who is not participating in this race, and Robinson currently sitting in 3rd. So quite an interesting situation in the championship. As you can see, a Mercedes going extremely slow. That's a lot of damage for Alan Brown. That car is very badly wounded. I'd like to try to see if it was a mistake. Oh, it was a mistake here. Oh, they're about. Oh, he completely lost the rear and put the car into the wall. It's very odd. Let me see it again. How did it happen? Oh, it was very unlucky. He put the car on the grass, and then the rear left simply got hooked into the curb, and then he completely lost the control of his Mercedes-Benz, leaving it with immense damage that will, quite frankly, will likely keep the car in 25th place. Not too much to do about it. These two are still battling for the podium position in Pro Class. They've been together for practically the entirety of the race. And now only 4 minutes remain. I'm hearing a car. A mistake, possibly by Porsche driver in 20th place. Possibly Berman just now has a chance because he is closer than usual on the season rush. So I think he is easily going to win for his own classes. Oh, there was a mistake by Tima. Oh, Well, Shang is ahead of him. But what happened here? Okay, that was Zolder. So it's completely. It's running very oddly. There is obviously an issue of some kind, but I think he's out of fuel. He may be out of fuel because he is lapping extremely slowly and short shifting as much as physically possible. His listening is getting closer. And now he is ahead of. Maybe this guy is having some very side. Let's Stemma going for the move. Trying to understand what is happening there. Number 96 is off the racetrack. Fatima was initially in 13th place, so 5th place in silver class, and he's now dropping like a stone because of some sort of issue. I'm quite sure it's fuel related. Astema will take the white flag and start the last lap for the Masters of ACC. Just in front of all the wind turbines. I think it's the only track in the world that has wind turbines on the horizon, which makes this track simply better than any other track. Shake my head. Cutting the chicane for the last time, and also apologies for cutting abruptly. Okay, I can say it. Forgot how to say words in English. Anyway, the Audi goes on to make a move from the outside on Casitash on the very last lap. They are side by side into turn 2. Abruptly. I made it. While Sakar goes into the wall. I think that was Gemello. It was Gemello going into the wall. Apologies, it was Rubini going in straight into the wall. In turn 2. And they are still side by side. Will the Audi be ahead? It's actually going to be Casitash ahead of the Audi driver for 4th place, which is 3rd place in overall class, in pro class, as Stemma wins the race. 12 seconds ahead of Hill, who will complete the race in 2nd. And overall podium being completed by Meatini, winning in silver class in number 17 for Flat Out Esports. Starting in 11th place, he now finds himself in 3rd. But finishing the podium for Pro Class is going to be the 789 of Citarash, just ahead of Velman in 5th place. Then Gibbons follows, 2nd place in class for Gibbons, and the Young just 6 times behind in 7th, as Robinson completes the podium in silver class. 8th overall. And the Limbers arrives just a tiny bit later, with Rice just ahead of Vita and Gallo in 10th, 11th and 12th place. And the Chong is the last car on the lead lap, will complete the race. So this was tonight's round in Zolder, and the next race is going to be in Silverstone for 90 minutes, but as you can see on the left tower, this is standings top 20. So Stemma, Hill, Meattini, Caseta, Bellman, Gibbons, De Jong, Robinson, Limbers and Rice in top 10, with Vita, Gallo, De Jong, Besslink, Tirenna, Cialla, Longden, Belli, Rubini and Galamini completing the top 20 for us all. In any case, this was Zolder round number 3. Silverstone is going to be the next one on February the 13th for an hour and a half. Then Kota with Hungaroring following Barcelona, and then Suzuka at the very tail end of the championship from the 90-minute race. In any case, I'm Cristiano Romano. This was the ACC GT3 Masters, and I will see you all tomorrow for Le Mans Ultimate, and the next week for 4th round of this championship. In the meantime, stay safe, have a good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world,